What's good, Goodinc fam? Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to tell you guys 5 things that you need to know before you go to a photo meetup. So I've been hosting photo meetups we've been doing Goodinc meetups since 2014. Probably done over 150 to 200 meetups over that time period. I was hosting meetups even before that. So I have a lot of experience going to hosting and being a part of photography meetups. So I have a lot of knowledge, and I want to share some of that with you guys here today. So I'm going to give you 5 things that I think will help you have a good time, things that you need to know before you go to a photo meetup. So let's get into that. So the first one is to arrive early. That'll kind of set the stage for everything. That's really important, man. Like, it's hard to arrive to a meetup late and kind of be the odd man out. You know, when you arrive late, things are already happening. The leader or person has already spoken. Everyone's kind of met. People break off into small groups. People spread out. It gets really hard to do your thing at a photo meetup when you arrive late. So get there early. Give yourself a chance to meet people, network, shake hands, exchange info. Get to listen to the event organizer and kind of get a good feel for the area, whether it's a studio or out in a space. You can kind of get there early and, get the lay of the land and get an idea of what you want to do, where you want to shoot, and all that good stuff. So arriving early is super, super important. Also, bring the necessary equipment. That seems obvious, but that can make a huge difference. So obviously, bring your camera, bring a memory card. That goes without saying. But depending on where you're at, know what you're going to need in that space. So if you're indoors, we did a photo shoot up in a Victorian that was super dark inside. And if you didn't have a light, you were really out of luck. You kind of had to use other people's lights and kind of, make it happen with what you had. So being prepared in that way is super important. If you're outdoors, if it's, an area where you got to hike a little bit, having the right types of shoes and gear and all that stuff is really important. It's a game changer. So yeah, bringing the right equipment and the right gear is really important. Also, for number 3, this is huge, and that's be respectful. That's something that, can go a long way, man. Like, being respectful of the people around you, whether it's fellow photographers, whether it's models, whether it's the event organizer, the space. It shouldn't have to be said, but it's still an issue that, we deal with, that everyone that hosts events deals with. So yeah, be respectful to the people around you. If you see photographers shooting, make sure you're giving them space and allowing them to do their thing. If you're working with a model directly, make sure your communication is respectful. You are representing yourself, representing your own brand. You want to do that well. So whatever types of interactions that you're having, make sure that they are respectful. You're not saying anything crazy. And that's going to go a very, very long way. And the event organizer will definitely appreciate that. That kind of leads into the next one, and that is communication. I want to start talking about this more because this is super important, not just at meetups, but in the photography profession overall. Like, communication is so important. I feel like it's overlooked often. So I'm getting some fresh air and it's hot here. So how you speak to people goes a long way. So an example I would give is like, so we have situations where, we have a meetup and we have more photographers than models. And sometimes we get groups of photographers working with one model. So it'll be 2, 3, 4 photographers working with one model. Communication is so important in that situation, right? Like, you want to be able to allow each other to get good shots. And we don't do enough of that. We don't do enough talking to each other as photographers and working with the model, making sure that we're all getting time with the model and that the model is comfortable with a larger group and we're not overwhelming the model. So communication, the more you talk, the more you communicate, the more you explain yourself, the better off you're going to be. So many photographers have seen it so many times, like, ruin their reputation and hurt their careers and hurt their business with bad communication and not understanding how important it is to be able to speak to people, to be able to get your point across, and to be able to explain to people what you're trying to do. And that, ties back into being respectful as well. That communication has to be respectful. So huge piece of what we do. And at a meetup, like, that's something that one of my goals this year is to get people to start talking more. Sometimes I know it's hard, and we don't always know what to say or how to, if you're directing a model, if we don't know how to direct a model, we don't know how to, tell a model where to go or where not to go or what to do or what not to do. And if a photographer is working with a model and you want to kind of work in with the photographer, we don't know how to communicate that well. So sometimes we stand back and shoot from a distance and we don't get great shots. We end up kind of making the situation awkward. Like, communication is huge. So we're going to work on that a lot this year. But yeah, a big thing to know before you go to a meetup, be ready to communicate, because that is a huge part of it. It's a huge part of photography just in general. Create and collaborate. That's obviously the main purpose and the main goal of a photo meetup, is to create and collaborate, to network, mingle, meet other people, exchange information. If you are a less experienced photographer, ask questions. If you see someone who kind of generally looks like they know what they're doing, if you're someone who's more experienced, be willing to share. Be willing to share knowledge. Be willing to give tips. We don't want to be pushy in that way, but be willing to, politely suggest things. So yeah, create, collaborate, try different things. If there's something that you've been wanting to try, whether it's a new lens or an idea or a concept or something, do that at a meetup. That's the perfect opportunity to just, create, collaborate, do something different. If you've never worked with models, this is a great opportunity to work with models. So overall, these 5 things will definitely help you have a better time and find success at a photo meetup. We have tons of meetups coming up in the future, so I'll try to announce more here on YouTube as well. We always announce everything on Instagram and on our mailing list. All that information can be found below. I'm trying to switch things over a little bit more to Facebook. So yeah, I'm going to share a lot here as well. So appreciate you guys watching. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And we're going to continue to try to grow here on YouTube, so all the support helps. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.